Hey everyone,
Everybody, good
it's been a
morning.
while. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Inside the Actor Studio.
I love it.
I'm the host, and this is Bradley Cooper.
What's this? Something Lipton?
Yeah, I
You-
forgot.
Wait, where's my glasses? You were on the set of the Titanic. Tell us what was going through your mind at the time.
Yeah, it was exciting. Yeah, I got to work with Jimmy Cameron. See, I call him Jimmy Cameron. And Jim, we like to call him. He was fantastic.
But yeah, I used to watch a lot of those. I used to watch a lot of.
I know.
From
Yeah, you used to watch it a lot. Well, anyway, welcome to another episode of Seen Anything Good Lately.
Welcome back.
It's been a while.
Yes.
Likewise, buddy. I'm Hitesh. This is Kendall. Don't know which side you're on, but you're somewhere. You're in the metaverse. We're all in the metaverse. It's exciting.
Are we in the metaverse?
Yeah.
So you're telling us there's a better version of us out there?
No, we are the better versions.
Are we?
Yeah.
Are we the evil versions as well?
Yeah, well, you know.
Yeah.
And you're like the good-hearted, innocent boy that turns bad. Real bad.
What are we what are we reviewing? Have you seen anything good lately? How about we start with that?
Have I ever? I just watched The Hound of the Baskervilles. Have you seen it, Kendall?
Yes, I have.
Whoa, really? Wow, it's like we planned this.
Yeah, by coincidence.
We're like on the same wavelength.
I'm not looking up who directed Hounds of the Baskervilles, unless you already know.
Terence Fisher.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, look at you. Prepared.
Screenplay written by Peter Bryan and based on the Hound of the Baskervilles novel, The Sherlock Holmes Story. Written by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell us a brief synopsis of the movie?
So yes, it's a basic. It's almost episodic. Like it's a piece of because Sherlock Holmes is like Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's Sherlock Holmes books are quite short novellas, and they're meant to be read episodically. And so it's the case for this story as well. The Hound of the Baskervilles. It could be condensed into like an episode, but like basically it's Sherlock Holmes has to come face to face with one of his first cases that is it's and this is what I like about it. It's supernatural, which back in the Victorian era is very superstition and spirituality was a huge thing, and clairvoyancy and mediumship. In the Victorian era, that's a huge thing, and we get Sherlock Holmes coming face to face with sort of supernatural thing, which because he said Sherlock Holmes is in supposed to be like very realistic world where there's not a lot of extraordinary affairs in like in a metaphysical sense. So we see Sherlock Holmes coming face to face with a case and a murder that he must try to explain. And it's really interesting. It's really fun. It's a Hammer horror film. You can see like it's a mystery thriller, but you can see the horror elements that they dabbed in, like it's a ghost hound, and like it's a creepy.
Oh, you kind of froze a little bit.
So it's very creepy, very all the motifs of horror are there. There's a moor that surrounds the entire there's a castle on the hill, it's got all those tropes, and there's like a beastly ghost, hound or hellhound or whatever, and so we get to see the mystery of there was a murder of yeah. It's really fun. I think it's fun. I've seen a better version of this. I'm a huge Sherlock Holmes fan, like just reading like the books and stuff like that. But like, there's another TV adaptation that I feel does this a lot more better, because they don't show like it. It's the plus side is also the downside. So it's supposed to be this is like they talk about the moor like it's like the whole town that the Baskervilles are in. It's a gigantic moor. It's like a swamp, marsh kind of thing, and there's only like a small pieces of actual soiled land that you can actually build a house on. And then there's a house mansion over here. There's a manor here. There's a small township here, and a small little pub thing right here. And you can only go to and fro to the next house, or whatever. There's another house over there. There's another estate over here. In between those houses, it's like if you get off put your foot in the wrong place, you can definitely fall into the marsh, because it's all nothing but marsh and water. So that's what's so cool. It's creepy, you like everyone's feet. It's like very marshy, like it's a swamp basically. And you can, if you put your foot in the wrong place, you can just get sunk in. It reminds me of do you know those are the Fellowship of the Ring, where Frodo and Lord of the Rings, and they're trekking along, and they go to like a swampy marsh, and you see the corpses inside the ghostly inside the mud in the water. That's what to me, like I like when I look into a marsh, that's what I see. And like that's what like the huge it's a massive scale. That's one of the flaws of this film. You don't really get to see it. It's like alluded to, and it's all Mac paintings. You know what I mean? It's all giant sets and unnatural lighting. I actually find the unnatural lighting very charming. I'm not sure if you picked up on this, but in the climax, there's a green light. There's a green light. I was watching it with my girlfriend, and I was just like, that's funny. I like it because it's a director and the lighting person being dramatic and thematic, but
it's also like really theatrical, right? Like kind of like a play.
But like for our sensibilities and our modern sensibilities, I was just laughing. I was like, this is hilarious. It's very cute.
Yeah.
What it is. Like a green, and I was like, what the hell is it? And it's so obvious that the ruins of the Baskerville house, because that's where they had their final confrontation, is clearly a gigantic set. I think it's wonderfully designed, but I was just like, it's obvious they're not outside.
It was also important to know that this movie was made like 1959.
1959. Wow.
So it's almost, it came out May the 4th, 1959. So this is a very old movie.
Yeah, very old movie. I really like it. And what's true is and this actually happens in the book, I believe, and in other adaptations. It's one of the very rare stories where Sherlock Holmes doesn't show up. He's at the beginning of the story and doesn't show up until like a quarter of the way in, because he's like, it happens in all the other adaptations, and it's part of the book. You get to see Watson investigating the crime, and Watson he's surveying first. Meanwhile, Sherlock is like, he's on his own little adventure. He's like, he's in the background. He's like, while he's like going inside, Sherlock Holmes is walking around the outside. He's like he's visiting the local tavern. He's going to the local neighborhood. He's researching, and then he shows up a quarter into the way in the film. I was like, I've always found that funny that he would like manipulate his friend like that. And then
it was a nice take, because I'm not, I've only seen the Benedict Sherlocks, the Robert Downey Sherlocks. I haven't seen any of the other. No, that's a lie. I watched the Michael Caine Sherlock Holmes movie recommended by you many, many years ago.
Yeah.
So the comedy. What was it called?
Without a Clue. Yeah, that's funny.
Like that's a really good like Sherlock adaptation. And Michael Caine. I promise you, Mr. Wayne, with your parents, I shall look after you.
That's the way.
Mr. Wayne, with your parents. Every year I'll be in Italy and I'll be waiting for you with espresso.
16 years old. She's only 16 years old. A rupee the size of a tangerine.
That's pretty good.
Family.
All right, I'm Michael Caine.
But yeah, it's been Kingsley as Watson.
Yeah, and like I'm a huge fan of Kingsley.
Yeah, but yeah, so they it's really like
he's got some Indian in him. By the way, did you know? Fun fact: being Kingsley had some Indian in him.
Is that true?
Yep, that's why he could get away with playing Gandhi. I think he's like a quarter Indian, or like it's relatively distant, either half or something like that. But he's of Indian descent.
Oh, fun fact. I believe Boris Karloff had some Indian ancestry in him as well.
Yeah.
You know Boris Karloff?
No, but Indian.
Yeah. Boris Karloff played the original Frankenstein.
Oh, cool.
The original Frankenstein, and he also played the Mummy. And so he had this. Apparently, he had this amazing. He was an amazing face.
He was in the Tom Cruise movie.
Who? Amazing face.
You said he was in. You said he was in the Mummy movie with Tom Cruise, a critically acclaimed
he was in the better
movie.
One.
Oh, Brendan Fraser.
But he Boris Karloff had he had these great eyebrows and this great brow, very English, like well spoken, but especially had like a foreign distinction in his facial features, which is why he got cast. And I was like, that's cool. And then you get him playing a Middle Eastern person in The Mummy.
Yeah.
Which makes absolute sense. Which is cool. And because and you can actually see it as well. You look at his eyebrows, English face, thick, broad eyebrows, and it's like, yeah, you can see an Indian person right there. And
another fun fact for your people, for you guys. This is the first Sherlock Holmes movie in color.
Oh, that's right. That's why they're going all out with the.
Yeah,
I love it when they do that. Like when
the costumes are very vibrant.
Doing color or something or sound, they go all out. That I remember like looking in the background in this film, and everything's so bright.
Yeah, it's very vibrant.
Yeah, very bright with like the red coats, and like the red berries are very red, and the flowers are like the bushes are very green. And they try you look in like the mansion, the Baskervilles Manor, and everything's just very lush.
Yeah, it looks very lived in. Like it's almost like theatrical again. Like it's like a play style, right?
Yeah, like a play style.
Because it's from that era, right? Of plays, and not a lot of things were filmed and on TV at the time. So plays were the main source of income. Entertainment.
Yeah.
So I guess that's where that kind of just stage direction came from. It's the production direction.
Yeah. Well, you got to utilize everything you can. And you know what? These Hammer horror films were being pumped out on a very on budget or low budget, but like very quickly.
Yeah.
And they're basically pulling out all the stops. Anything to get kids, like anyone to get like if you can see like little sexual bits, like I think it's quite tame for our days, our sense of modern sensibilities, but the female kind of like it's the 50s, you know what I mean? Any hint of kind of female sexuality, or even sensuality. There's even that was she Spanish? That Spanish woman who's into Lord Baskerville or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of sultriness is like that's like I can't believe it. That's like pornography for the 50s. You know what I mean? Like it's super tame for us, But
Yeah.
for them, that's like too much
Like
sexuality.
if you were to rate this, like, with the film standards, it would probably be like what, PG?
Oh, for our time,
Yeah.
it'd be PG for us, but or even like G. But for like them, that was like mature audiences only. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And plus, there's like you weren't allowed to. I think because of British broadcasting standards, you weren't allowed to show like blood. And in this film, there's like a lot of red. Even the tarantula, that would be considered too much for like they use an actual tarantula. Because now that we know that tarantulas are not like harmless creatures, that everyone in our time and our like sensibility knows. I mean, all you can get is like a pretty, I don't know, small bite. But there's that Sherlock Holmes says, you can a bite from a tarantula is one of the most lethal creatures in the human known human world. And I was like, what the?
I laughed out loud. I laughed out loud on that. I was like, man, science has come a long way.
Yeah, science has come a long way. And
while I'm watching this film on my phone, it was like made for like a projector.
It's so funny, man. Like little things like that. Like I love that it's made in an era like that. I love Peter Cushing. Peter Cushing makes a great Sherlock Holmes. Do you think so?
Yeah.
Like,
did he reprise the role again?
I think
or did he play a version of Sherlock Holmes and other stuff?
Only a handful of times. He always played the heroes in Hammer films. He was Van Helsing.
Oh yeah. Also,
he always played the hero lead.
Also important to know that Christopher Lee, cinema legend, was also in this movie.
Yes.
And also two Star Wars connections as well.
Yes, that's true. It just shows George Lucas's penchant for horror and that generation. Who do you get? You get Grand Moff Tarkin because he grows up watching these films.
Yeah.
And then when he gets older, and then he gets a chance to make more Star Wars films for the prequels. Who does he get to play Count Dooku? He gets Christopher Lee. It all just makes sense.
It's also funny, like they're different eras of Star Wars as well. Like, obviously, Peter Cushing is this new era, the old era, right? The original, and then Christopher Lee's the new, newish era.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that George Lucas is definitely of this era. He must have grown up. We know that he grew up watching Flash Gordon and
westerns
westerns and sci-fi films, and he's clearly influenced by these Hammer horror films because these are classic character actors. I don't think he played a lot of Sherlock Holmes roles, Peter Cushing, but the way he looks, he's perfect for it.
Very distinguished, kind of looks like a know-it-all. Yeah.
And the hair is coiffed back. I was like, and he's quite slender.
I've got a question for you. If you were to recast this movie now, who would you get to play? So like pretty much same storyline, but who would you get to play Sherlock Holmes? Who would you get to play Watson? Who would you get to play the Baskerville guy?
What was that? Let's look up what the actual Baskerville guy's name was called again.
Henry.
Oh, Henry Baskerville. What? Okay, so here's the thing that they left out. So, if anyone is gonna rewatch this version, I suppose you can for historical sake, but I there's a better version. I'd rather you guys watched the Jeremy Brett version. So Jeremy Brett, where is it? So you can even watch it on it's on YouTube. But the Jeremy Brett version is a lot more better. There's a lot more quality, and there's something that So Henry Baskerville is supposed to be American.
Oh, right.
And so when you see Peter Cushing, like doing his like I don't know, he's not even American, like he's doing just an English accent. So basically, Henry Baskerville inherits the estate, but he's like the
Hold on a minute.
last.
But to be a sir, right, you have to be English or in the Commonwealth.
Yes, but he is a sir because he was born and raised on Baskerville Manor, but
Right.
he went away at a young age. So he left and he went to America. He has a thick American accent, kind of returns, and he becomes like a lord or like of the manor and stuff like that. But what's great is in the Jeremy Brett version, they actually get an American actor. And not only do they get an American actor, but they do this cool little thing where he has like American tailoring his costume. Like it looks a very like a lot more American style dress suit or whatever. And then as soon as he goes to the Baskerville Manor, he like you can see that he puts on an English suit, and it just helps cement like they even address it like you just like a foreigner, like this is your house now, you come dress, and then he dresses up in like a hunting uniform or something, and he just like, oh, it makes sense. So there's like little bits like that in the Jeremy Brett version. There's also in the Jeremy Brett version, so there's a certain character that is a red herring, some kind of criminal character that's lurking on the mall, who's related to one of the maids in the house, and basically this character dies. And in this movie, she doesn't get upset because that's her brother. In the Jeremy Brett version, she actually like cries because that's her brother that passes away. In this, I was like, she's like, oh, like I tried my best, I guess. And I was like, what the heck? That was your brother that just passed away. And he's like, he was an innocent man. And then I was like, oh, like it just, looking at the two versions, it's so on and off. What else was there? Where was I getting at watching the Hound of the Baskervilles? The Jeremy Brett version. Can't remember, but it's really good. I suppose you can watch it for historical sake, but
yeah, it's on YouTube.
Yeah,
so search it up.
Search it up. At least an hour long.
Yeah, it's like an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah,
easy watch. Watch it while you're having dinner or eating or bored or.
Is there anything else funny that occurred in that film? I felt like there was.
There was a lot because of its time. There was a lot of things that kind of stick out because of the difference in generations.
Or like cultural things.
Yeah, like you mentioned before that Christopher Lee was kind of rapey in this movie.
Yeah, he's quite. Yeah, the character's like. It's kind of cute. Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about like they're trying to make it cutesy, but like there's a scene where like he chases her down, and she like literally like she doesn't actually have to tell him anything, and like and he Christopher Lee chases her down, and basically, I would say she trips and kind of picks her up in a very rough way. It's like, why are you running? Are you running as if you saw a stranger or something?
Yeah.
You. Because I was like, wow, that's quite. I was like, but like it really is emblematic of the times.
Yeah.
Very odd.
It's like damsel in distress kind of.
And then later on,
mentality.
He ends up meeting her. He goes down to her house and like he confesses that he has feelings for her. And I was like, oh, this is weird.
This is how I get my dates.
Yeah. I
met them on Tinder and I chase him down and
Yeah.
Go back to her house and say, "Hey, look, I love you."
And that's her dad, right? That's her dad, the guy who works
Yeah.
the land.
Yeah. If that's not how you woo a girl, I have no idea. Probably why I'm
Man.
still single.
Everyone wonders like it was an incel back in those days.
So, any final thoughts before we wrap up?
I love Sherlock Holmes. I think if you're a huge Sherlock Holmes fan, this is something you need to take off your list. If you're a huge horror fan, I recommend, take it. It's very educational. If you're a huge Hammer horror fan, this is a must. You must watch this if you're a huge Hammer horror fan, because you get to see the beginnings of, they were like trying to turn schmuck, I suppose, genre. That's what they used to call it, like schmuck horror genre into quality, and usually it doesn't really work. But sometimes Hammer, sometimes they pulled it off. I don't know how with their budgets, and they basically used same crews, same actors, and same directors all the time. They reused everything, so nothing go to waste, and they could keep the budget under lock and key.
And also, if you're a fan of the color red, I'd recommend this movie because there's a lot of it.
A lot of red. That's part of like, so yeah, you mentioned before like about like they just discovered Technicolor, and you get to see a lot of that. But I actually kind of liked it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It was very.
I'm a fan of like that kind of theatric like costuming and like the over. I'm a fan of like the over the top kind of styling and on sets and stuff like Great Gatsby. Like I love the over the top, the extravagant, the stylistically, it just looks really cool on cinema, like on a big screen, and then
it's because it's so rare. People don't go all out anymore. They're trying to save the budget and trying to make scarcity and make it look like luminal.
Yeah, and not even that, just realistic. Like
quite bare. Sometimes when they want to go out with too much detail, it adds a kind of a lot of detail can help like add things to the I suppose the tapestry.
Like if you look at the recent Dune movie, it's stylistic to the point where it's natural for its surroundings, but it's not like over the top, like Flash Gordon, bright colors. Like even like Thor Ragnarok was very stylistic and bright, like a bright sci-fi.
Yeah, adventure, swashbuckling adventure.
Oh yeah.
And what are your thoughts?
I liked it. Would I go back to it? No.
Yeah. It's really
like,
one of those films you just look at once.
Yeah, I've seen it. That's cool. It's cool.
All right, cool. So that's the first film.
Wait, there's another one?
Yes, we got a triple feature. Double feature. Oh my gosh, sorry.
Double feature. Continue. Peace. Guzzle that water. For those who are listening, Kendall was guzzling water.
Yes, too much.
Too much water.
So, have you seen anything good lately?
Nah.
Well, that's the show, everybody. Have you had a good time? I'll catch you guys next week. Don't forget to tip your waiters. And have a happy Anzac Day.
I'm joking. I've seen it. I recently watched The Outfit, directed by Graham Moore. So it's a crime drama movie about a tailor in Chicago who allows mafia, gangsters, mobsters to put envelopes of money into like a box where they collected.
Yeah, it's a collection box for their
Yeah.
for a week's earnings, I suppose.
Yeah.
Of racketeering, and basically they use his tailoring shop as a
Like a
as a
laundering. Yeah.
yeah, for money laundering. Yes,
It's like old school laundering.
it is.
And it's
Keep going.
so it's got the brilliant Mark Rylance, Johnny Flynn, Zoe Dutch, Dylan O'Brien. Interesting casting.
Very weird casting.
Yeah, it's like they're not top tier actors. You know what I mean? Like they're not other than like Mark Rylance.
I thought there were only two actors I liked in this film. It was Mark Rylance and who played or Simon Russell Beale. Actually, I like Nikki as well. Nikki Amuka Bird.
Oh yeah.
It's interesting because it's a full British cast.
Not really.
Oh, except for
Dylan O'Brien and Zoe.
Yeah.
Zoe Dutch is American.
Yeah. We'll get into the story first before we before I get back and jump back into the actors.
Yeah.
So it's place in his tailoring store. I mean, he's not a tailor; he's a cutter.
Yeah, it's in Gangland, Chicago.
And basically, he gets roped into a series of events.
Unfortunate events.
Where there's a mole within this kind of criminal organization.
In the movie, they refer to it as was it a rat?
A rat, yeah. So there's a mole, there's a rat in the criminal organization, and basically
working for the FBI.
Yeah, someone is working for the FBI, and basically there's only a handful of characters, and there's a great tension between just using a handful of characters. You get to see an entire story take place, and you don't actually have to leave. I was really engaged in this film.
Yeah,
because one place, and my interest was always engaged.
This is like another movie where it's almost like a play as well. There's only one setting. There's only one set. Characters come in and out. This would have been an interesting play just as much as an interesting film.
Yeah. Yeah, I ended up really, really enjoying it. I love good writing like this. Where
it's very
really,
tight.
It's super reliant on the writing of the story, because everything they say, even the layout and the structure, you have to try and figure out who is the mole, who's the rat, and who is really playing who, and it takes you through a ride where it allows the audience to try and piece the pieces together, while also being hinted at. Like, so every character that comes in is not wasted. I suppose the only wasted characters are the muscle, but every character,
because a small cast as well. What, 7?
Yeah.
Build.
I really like that. It was very tight. I love a nice tight film. And we learned so much about the main character.
Oh, again, another short movie. I think it's an hour and 40 minutes.
It feels like a real play.
Yeah.
It's like it's an exercise in playwriting, and it's really tight. And I really like. There's no wasted elements.
What did you think about the pacing of the movie?
Yeah, that's true. The pacing had to be modified because it takes over an entire night or something like that, or an entire morning.
Yeah, I think it's a whole day, right?
Yeah,
Because we see the cutter like at the start of the film getting ready, and then throughout the day, events.
an entire thing occurs.
And I'm always a fan of like movies like set in a day. Like I don't know why. I think it's just the slice of lifeness of it.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say it because it helps like you can keep track of an entire story
Yeah,
over the they condensed an entire 24 hours
yeah,
into a 1 hour film,
yeah.
and you can see it beginning, middle, and end, and you don't miss a lot of like side things.
The reason why I mentioned the pacing is because I thought the third act kind of fell apart a little bit.
What was that story?
I thought the third act fell apart a bit. I thought it was a little bit sloppy.
Are you talking about the character? What happened with the rival gang showing up?
Yeah.
I was going to say I actually don't mind that. I felt was out of place was when one of the bad guys got back up.
Oh yeah. No, I
That
just felt
seemed
it was really. I know. I felt it was like rushed to get to that point. I would have liked to live with.
I honestly felt that unnecessary. Having one more battle.
I'd like to live with it. I wanted to live with it a little bit more, I think.
But yeah, there's like it really okay. I want to jump into the casting because it's really, really odd for me.
Yeah.
Is it Dylan O'Brien?
Yeah.
Dylan O'Brien is doing this weird Chicago.
Yeah.
Weird Chicago. And I was, to a certain point, I was thinking to myself that someone is dubbing over him. And I don't like him doing this accent thing. Right?
This is him trying to like. I'm not saying this is an Oscar bait movie, and I'm not saying I think it's like a setup for an Oscar movie. You know, like him trying to. I've done this dramatic role. Now give me the next Steven Spielberg movie.
I wouldn't say Oscar movie.
Oh no!
I think what you're trying to say is he's trying to break.
Yeah.
His
you know the yeah, like you know he's like the teen heartthrob. He's a
teen heartthrob, young, straight-laced kind of character.
Yeah.
Like, he always gets this, but he's once you start going into the realm of accents and stuff like that, like trying to culturally embrace the role of the character and stuff like that. Like this is something that Mark Rylance can do, because Mark Rylance has a face that can transform from an Englishman to an American to a Russian spy to a magic giant fairy thing. But Dylan O'Brien doesn't have that repertoire. He doesn't have that range.
He doesn't have that experience either. Like Mark Rylance has been in the.
And that's not his fault either.
No.
That he has a great he has great presence, great face for leading roles, action roles, and for TV. But like he just cannot transform people because it's casting directors kind of are reinforcing he plays lead roles, and same accent and young adult novels and like TV series. He does not do British drama, period pieces, foreign culturally, different variety films. He doesn't have that range to pull these things off. And to the point where I thought that was not his actual. I thought someone was dubbing over him at a certain point. I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't. I thought the accent was fine, but the fact that it came out of him, like maybe you could have like grew a mustache or something to have grease, or you like in your show your character or something. But honestly, it was more. It took me out of the film a little bit rather than pulled me into the world. the only character that was holding me in the entire way was Mark Rylance, because he's doing it. That's not his. He's doing a kind of British accent that is very regional,
Yeah.
like very working class. Yeah, there's certain words he says that are not like, he's not Cockney, he's not upper class. He's like in between there.
Yeah.
It's a definitely regional accent, and he's doing it really well. I thought Zoe Dutch, she was decent. I thought very decent. Nothing, but that's what you
No.
need.
She's nothing memorable. Like,
yeah. I think.
what do you think of the other fella?
You talking about Johnny Flynn?
Yeah, Johnny Flynn as Francis.
Johnny Flynn as Francis. So he's kind of he and so Zoe Dutch or Ditch or something, Ditch. She basically has because she always plays prickly characters, so that's why I see her as. She always plays like prickly, kind of like almost mean girl, kind of almost like nasty kind of characters.
I've only seen her in a couple of things.
In her, huh?
I've only seen her in a couple of things.
Yeah. So it was hard for me to see her as like a warm character. But Johnny Flynn, he got into some, let's say, I think I actually really like, he was an Emma, and I really liked him in Emma, where he plays this kind of
the one with Anna Taylor Johnson, like the recent one.
He's the English other character. He's other like lord or something, where he tells her off for being mean or putting down this one woman who clearly does not have enough, like who has a lot of misfortunes, and he basically just tells her off. So that you knew of her disposition, and you said those mean things to her. He's like, what is it like? I love that scene. Johnny Flynn got he got into a little bit of flack a couple years back when he started in Stardust, I believe. And Stardust is an unofficial biography of
Bowie.
Yeah, David
Bowie.
Because it's an entire David Bowie biopic, but you can't call him David Bowie, and you can't use any of his music.
And can you call him Ziggy, or I haven't seen the movie.
Basically, the film is about him transforming himself to his real, like David Bowie's, I don't think is his real name, but the transformation from David to Ziggy Stardust to he had all these other personas, and basically his transformation into a star. And basically, it's a low budget. Is it Mike Maron or something? Mike Maron, the comedian.
Yeah. Mark Maron.
Yeah, he did it, and there's
he's like the manager or something, which is him and like Paul Giamatti just played managers. That's like they're like
snide managers and stuff like that. But the thing is, the character that he's based on in real life was like roughly the same age as David Bowie.
Right.
So there's a lot of historical inaccuracies, because his manager at the time that met David for the first time was like roughly, they were in the same age bracket, whereas you look at Johnny Flynn and Mike Maron, there's a huge age gap between the two.
But Mike Maron would be maybe late 50s, early 60s.
Yeah, it was like, so there's so I always get that in the back of my head. This guy who's doing this it seems off to me. I think Johnny Flynn may have produced that film as well.
Eesh.
So that's it's like a failed.
Did it come out in that time where there were heaps of
It came out the same year that Queen movie came out. What was it? Bohemian Rhapsody.
This one came out 2020. This came out end of the year 2020.
Yeah, that was the same year as Bohemian Rhapsody, right?
No, that was 2018 in November
Was it?
or October, yeah. And then the year after, I think June, July, Rocket Man came out.
Rocket Man.
Yeah, so like it's still in the era of the those pop star biopics,
Yeah.
major pop stars. And we're also getting a Madonna movie.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
who's playing her?
What's her name? Ruth from Ozark. I should know her name.
Oh yeah,
Julie Garner. Julia Garner.
she's in that new series, Making Anna or something.
Yeah, Inventing Anna.
Inventing Anna, yeah.
And Julia Fox is going to be in the movie. She's going to play a dancer who's also like a famous actress as well, Debbie Mazar.
Okay.
Those who watched Entourage, would know
Uncut
her.
Gem.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I know.
I don't understand
I don't
that. I don't get the humor. I don't get the comedy in that.
You don't get it?
No, I don't get it.
She's got that accent, that strange Valley Girl.
I know. Trust me, like people have explained this to me, and I just don't get why it's funny. I don't understand. I just don't understand why people think that's like hilarious. I just don't get it.
You really don't get it?
No, I don't find it funny. I don't understand. I'm serious. Yeah, I've had conversations with people that I don't get the joke. I don't understand it. Like, it's not funny. What, she's mispronouncing something?
Yeah.
It's not funny.
But she can, I think it can be funny.
I don't think so. I seriously don't understand this whole, like, the month that, or whatever, the week that it was popular, like on TikTok and Instagram and all that. I've seen it all. I've seen it all. I don't understand it. I don't understand why people thought that was funny. I don't understand the viralness of it. I just don't get it. Am I old? Probably. I think
it has a lot to do with the fact that she is quite. I mean, she referred to herself in almost like a third person in that conversation.
Yeah, as being like, I'm the muse to the Safdie brothers.
She's got that. Uncut Gems, but it's she is one of those people who are. And I'm not a huge person that's into these things, like you. I had to get a little bit of it explained to me, where that accent that she's putting on, that Californian LA accent, is basically, so basically it's that accent that she's doing.
Yeah,
has become transferable over the internet. So this kind of like, so that accent she's using, a lot of people, you got Kim Kardashian.
What a funny connection. Funny connection, Kim Kardashian.
Oh, you mean the Kanye and
yeah.
Well, because so they're from that that LA upper crust Californian Valley Girl accent that's been permeating. But the thing is that that accent is it's very specific to that region, right? But it's a new phenomenon. But the accent has actually transferred over the internet because so we consume a lot of media like that's
content.
We got Keeping Up with the Kardashians and stuff like that. We watch like her and there's all their own platforms and podcasts. And apparently that accent has traveled abroad to England and stuff like that, in like foreign areas across the world where famous girls who want to be influencers have begun, and they themselves don't know that they've developed that accent. it's a strange phenomenon that's occurring right now. Where like, so if you have a makeup tutorial and like on YouTube, they don't know. I think there was a British. Yeah, they subconsciously adapted it.
Yeah.
Because there was like a British girl who began using a form of like, she's using her English accent, but still she's incorporated that Valley Girl accent into her lexicon, and it's become this huge phenomenon with girls, influencers, makeup tutorials, YouTube, social media, where this accent is growing via an internet. You know what I mean? It's like it's incredible. So we get to hear her, basically, it's and I'm not making this up. I had to look it up on YouTube of like where this is coming from, and basically she is basically invoking that accent, and also the fact that she's quite vapid. It's a vapid accent, and she's being quite like vain. It's like oh, it's about me, and I think that's important.
She was. But the other thing is, like, in the context of things, she was the flavor of the month. Like in pop culture, she was the flavor of the month.
She was.
When she was quite quiet for after Uncut Gems, she was quiet, and I loved her. I loved her performance.
But she's invoking the accent. That rare accent. I can't believe I'm talking about this on the podcast.
I can't believe we've been talking about this for at least 5 minutes. This is ridiculous. Okay, back to. I just don't understand it. It's internet that I don't understand the phenomenon. I just don't get.
You gotta jump on the bandwagon, Atish.
You crazy kids and your talk ticking and your.
Aren't we the similar age?
I'm older than you, so
yeah.
No.
A couple. But yeah, so The Outfit. I love how they incorporate his profession into the actual weaving of the crime narrative. You know what I mean? Simon. What's his name? Simon something Beale. He basically
Simon Russell Beale.
Simon Russell Beale.
Who played Roy Boyle?
I'm a huge fan of him. He does a lot of theater. He does a lot of TV. He does some films. And he does a magnificent array of accents. But this accent he did for Boyle, I did not like it at all. I didn't like it.
Fun fact: he's going to be in Thor: Love and Thunder.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who's he playing?
TBA.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm a huge fan of his. He's a really, really good actor, man. He's like very underlooked.
Yeah.
So I'm glad he's getting more work on the big screen. Yeah, he's I didn't like his Chicago kind of. He didn't do a Chicago accent. He just did a basic American accent, and I didn't like that. Yeah, Johnny Flynn.
Johnny Flynn.
What are we gonna do with you, Johnny? What are we gonna do with you, huh?
Yeah. Think you can? Yeah. Think you can? Make a movie about David Bowie and that.
Get away with it. We have you sleeping with the fishes.
Not on my watch.
Not on my watch.
I would like them to do a proper David Bowie movie, like in the same vein as like a Rocket Man and a Bohemian Rhapsody. Because like I rewatched those movies because they were on TV a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want a Bowie movie. I want a Prince movie.
I think someone should. And it'll have to be either Prince or David Bowie. But I think it's time that we take the biopic to the small screen.
Like a miniseries? Yeah, I agree. I'd love to see
that long lifetime.
Yeah, I would like that.
But
But
make sure it's one season, beginning, middle, and it ends.
but the thing with that, like if you're gonna do, but with a lot of these biopics, they are Oscar baits.
Yeah, they are, aren't they?
Just because, I mean, historically, oh cool, a Ray Charles movie will give Jamie Foxx a Oscar, which he deserved. Not saying he doesn't deserve it, but it is like Oscar bait.
Who would you cast?
In what movie? Prince or David Bowie? I've got the guy I mentioned before. Billy Jesus. Billy Magnuson as David Bowie. He's an American actor, but I would like him to play David Bowie.
Billy Magnuson.
No, Magnuson. Newsine? He was in Aladdin and Game Night. He was in the
Oh, this dude. You talking about the guy from? You know what? I actually would have preferred this guy over Billy Flynn.
Yeah, he looks like Billy Flynn.
But you're talking about the guy from No Time to Die.
Yeah.
I'm so glad. I want to punch him in his face. There's something about him that just.
Oh yeah, he's got a punchable face. There's no doubt about it. He's got the most punchable face in Hollywood at the moment. But I still think he could play David Bowie. He's got like the features of a Bowie. Maybe like not Bowie young, but maybe like an older Bowie, like a Bowie like early 40s Bowie.
Actually, I could see him as a Johnny Storm.
Oh God. Your movie's tainted. Your Fantastic Four movie's tainted. You've ruined it. Good riddance. You're Fox. You're cancelled, man.
Uncut Gem.
Oh God, I don't understand you and your youthness and your talking.
But yeah, I would cast this guy as but I'd make like Johnny like more of like I'd base him off of Justin Bieber.
I don't like that either.
That kind of celebrity, but like with like a heart of gold, kind of like because
you're cutting in and out.
Superheroes.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be like in the limelight explorers. You know what I mean? They're space adventurers and scientists and stuff, but they're like also kind of like celebrities. They're very much like the Kennedys, I would say.
Anyway, let's finish up with The Outfit because we're running out of time, and as we do on the show, we go on random tangents about crap, and we talk about crap that's not relevant to what we need to talk about.
Good stuff.
That is the good stuff.
Uncut Gem.
Did you have to yell that? If you've got your headphones, then I do apologize for getting. It was a bit of a mess today. Cool. So, any final thoughts on The Outfit?
Yeah, I really liked it. Just to watch Mark Rylance carry an entire film by himself.
Yeah, he must have been sore back.
I thought the film was super charming. I thought it was delightful. Very tight. You'll never watch a film that's this tight ever again, like for the entire year. I think this is the most tightest film I've ever like. It sounds weird that I'm saying that. Well, I mean tight as in like there's no loose ends.
Yeah, it's like a toiga.
Very small, very minimal, and very satisfying.
Yeah.
Like there's no. By the end of the film, you don't feel yourself like. I mean, you can complain about the actors, the voicing, the performances,
but the story itself
plays out. But like just having it begin, middle, and end, and it's all encapsulated in this one setting. It's very much like I'd say like a.
I'd call it a play.
I appreciate, like a gem.
Okay, well, I know where you're going with this, and I'm going to quickly say something. I thought the movie was good. Again, the third act for me was a little sloppy. I would have maybe explained and elaborated a little bit more. But other than that, it was It was a fun movie. I recommended it to you for the sake that I knew you like this like period drama, Mark Rylance. This is like up your alley.
Yeah. You know me too well. You don't know me.
You're not my dad.
You know my dad.
We haven't seen it in a while. Well, anyway, that's our show for the week, guys. We'll see you next week.
Check out The Outfit.
Like, subscribe,
See you.
follow us on Instagram. Seen anything good lately? Follow us on
All that good stuff.
SoundCloud. We'll catch you next
Instagram.
week.
Next week.
You know the vibes.
Yeah.
Peace.